Welcome to Empowered by AI, the podcast for women entrepreneurs ready to harness AI to take their businesses to the next level. I'm your host, Michelle Muncie Silva, founder of Innovative AI Studios. You may have left corporate life to start this entrepreneurial journey, but you don't have to go it alone. Here, you'll find a supportive community of like-minded women and an invaluable thought partner each week, as my guests and I share actionable insights you can use right away. So let's dive in together. Katy Keene, I would love to have you share your experience and your wisdom with the listeners today. So can you please just kick us off by telling a little bit about you, and then we're going to dive in.
That sounds wonderful. And thank you so much, Michelle, for allowing me to join you on the podcast today. I love what you're doing, and I feel honored to be here. So thank you so much for having me.
Oh, we're happy to have you. I'm going to learn a ton.
Well, I'm excited, so we will dive in. So I'll try to keep my intro very short and sweet, but my name is Katy Keene. I'm the founder and principal consultant at Keene Lane Co., which is my agency focused around marketing operations, which is aligning three things: your people, process, and technology. And so technology is what we'll be leaning into today, specifically with Canva and with AI and those types of conversations. I've had just a little bit of background on myself, a very corporate experience life, and then have had my own agency for almost 10 years now. So have lived in different spaces, right, in the corporate world and the entrepreneurial space, and then also working and supporting small businesses up to enterprise organizations within marketing operations. I am a Canva Agency Partner, and I was one of the first in the US, which is really exciting. So you'll hear me, like today, talk a lot about Canva and how to leverage that tool, especially for your group, right? We're entrepreneurs, small businesses, lean teams, that kind of thing. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Also, I'm a She Is AI Global Advisory Council member, so focusing on AI and empowering women in AI. And I know you resonate with that on the empowerment side of all the AI things. So that's a little snapshot of myself.
And I am wondering, out of all of the tools, because it feels like a fire hose, right? No joke. We are inundated with possibilities. What inspired you to zero in and create the Canva Unlocked workshop? Why do you think that now's the time for this to be the powerful go-to for entrepreneurs?
Yeah, so an incredible question. And so my journey with Canva has actually been started in my corporate career. So I'm, like you, very passionate about empowerment. And that tool in particular really was focused around allowing everyone to design and making that design accessible to everyone. And so I actually used it in my corporate world because I didn't always have resources or access to designers and things like that, or creating branding and staying on brand with things, even in the programs that I managed. In addition to my entrepreneurial space, I use it all the time for my business. And then I use it all the time for my clients because I work with lean teams or entrepreneurs that need tools that are going to be flexible, accessible, cost-effective, and that provide a variety of resources and tools so you're not jumping to all the shiny things, right? Like right now, like you're saying, there's so many things out there to grab and use. Canva is a wonderful package that includes a lot of pieces and parts that are really necessary for an entrepreneur, small team, or business owner, and especially with the AI functionality. And we've all seen it, like every tool that we're using now is incorporating AI. So the tools that you're leveraging have AI in addition to all these other new tools popping up. So it's very overwhelming. And what do I choose to align with? What do I buy? What do I need? And I think a lot of times that's what I'm seeing is people jumping for the shiny objects. And I really enjoy Canva because it's building in some of that functionality. And a lot of people are already familiar with Canva. So it's an easy tool to leverage because you already understand how it works. And they're building in AI functionality just as fast, if not more than others. And so I'm really encouraged by that. And I enjoy teaching on it because I've loved the tool anyway, and a lot of people have. And it also has a lot of incredible AI functionality and updates that have been super helpful for this group.
To be honest with you, I can't remember which came first, whether it was Canva or ChatGPT into my world, because I feel like Canva is one of those things that ever since I've been taking this path towards entrepreneurship, it's been there. And
Yeah.
I feel like I got really comfortable with what was available originally. But now that they've added the AI tools, I'm just like, I don't feel like I'm even like putting a deep scratch into the surface of what's available. Can you help us out by walking us through a few of those underrated features that I might be missing?
Yeah, absolutely. And as I've done different workshops and trainings with groups, it's helping me understand where people haven't been leveraging the tools. And it's some of the awareness of knowing what we have access to. And it's really trying to, where do we spend our time? Do I get a new tool? Do I learn that tool? Do I dive deeper into Canva? And it's been really helpful to educate like this people on what's in there, so you can spend time learning the features and functionalities in there too. As far as some of the updates this year, so every year Canva does what they call Canva Create, and it's a huge event. And it's a year where I had the opportunity to go as a partner this year, which was incredible. And that was in April. And they share the biggest launches and the biggest updates for the year. And at this one, there was over 70 updates that they had made throughout the year. And they really listen to their audience and take feedback, and they build out what's being asked for, which I absolutely love. And then they really talked about 4 big launches that they did this year. That were the 4 biggest things that happened. And this was one of their biggest years ever, with the biggest transformations they've had with Canva. So I'll touch on those 4, and then we can dive in a little bit deeper if we want to. One of them, and it's as simple as it sounds, it is like incredible, and a lot of people aren't leveraging yet. It's called Visual Suite 2.0. And if you're familiar with Canva, where you would create, a lot of people like, I create a social media post and that's one design over here. I create one flyer and that's over here. I create one event thing that's in another design. Now you can create all of those designs in all those assets in one design space. So if you think about it, and I'm a marketing operations person, so I align everything to processes. So if you're thinking about, all right, I've got a topic I want to share with my audience, and I want to talk to them about that topic, but I want to create a blog, I want to create a LinkedIn post, I want to create social media for it, I want to create a video. So you have an entire series of content that you're creating under this theme or marketing campaign. You can do that all in one design now, which saves so much time, and it keeps everything so clean that you have everything in one place. And you can do videos in Canva, so people don't leverage that a lot. So you're creating literally all of your assets in one space, so you're not having to jump to different platforms or even jump to different designs. It's all in the same place, and it keeps your branding consistent. It keeps your workflow and just your thought process consistent. So that's a little snapshot of the first one, the Visual Suite 2.0. And I go over that in all my workshops, and people are mind blown by it, because also aligning it to your process. So that's where you can kind of save a lot of time too.
It as easy as just typing in the top, I want to, and it just goes. Is that because I know I became, when I first started with Canva, so reliant upon that search box at the top. I want a template for a LinkedIn post, and it was just boom right there.
Yeah.
Is it taking that functionality and now turning it into this visual suite?
Yeah, a bit. And it really depends. And this is where I geek out too. I'm a big on organization and aligning it to your process. So I'll just walk through the way it works for me. And then also, one of the things I touch on too is setting up your brand kit in Canva. And as much as that seems silly to take the time to do it, almost everyone doesn't have it set up fully. And that's where you save a bunch of time too. So instead of searching on the search bar, you might already have a template that has all of your assets that you use every time you do a series of content. So then you just use your template. Or you start with a certain design and then pull in your different templates for different things. So there's a couple ways to approach it, but that way you're already picking things on brand that you've already established and things like that too. But I'm a stickler when it comes to the folder organization and setting up the brand kit. So getting the foundational things set up and understanding your process. So the way my brain works a lot of times is that I'll have an idea, or maybe I have a consistent question I get all the time from a customer or client. So I'm like, okay, I want to turn that into a blog. I want to write about this so I can help more people. You can actually use AI and Canva to write. And a lot of people aren't using that. So I'll start with a blog and get my written content in there. And then the next page in the design might be a video script. I'll create a video script from it. And then the next page might be my 3 different social media posts that I'm going to do with it. And then it's going to be in this design, it'll be the image that goes on my blog, on my website. And then I want to convert it into a LinkedIn article. And now I create a design in there for that header, because they're all different sizes. And you can just continue converting that content in the same space with those different designs in the same place. Does that make sense or help?
No, it does. It does. And that's what's so fun about it all is the way you can just, the more you learn, the more efficient it becomes.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the AI functionality is layered on that. So I mentioned the AI. AI is a writing tool. You can create in your brand kit, you can create your brand voice. And so that way, when you prompt AI within your design to write in your brand voice about a topic, it'll leverage that from your brand kit, which is a lot of fun too. You can prompt it the way we prompt ChatGPT and other things like that. So you can leverage that within your design. You can even prompt and use AI to create images. So if you have like a series of content and you want to create specific images that are aligned with your messaging that you want to keep consistent throughout, you can create AI imagery within Canva and use that as part of your campaign or your series of content. So you have that consistency too.
Okay. All right. Now I'm going to take you down a wormhole with each one of
Okay.
these. So that was Visual Suite.
That was one.
Yeah.
I know.
And I'm already just pulling you into my mania. So
Yeah.
before I go any further, show me number 2.
Okay. So number 2, and I like it's a lot because you can go down rabbit holes with one, but I talk a lot about Visual Suite 2.0 because a lot of people are diving into that right now too. So it's a big one. So designing with data is number 2. And so you can pull data in. There's a lot of integrations with Canva too, which I think people aren't aware of. Like, for example, I use HubSpot and I pull in HubSpot data. Now you can pull that in and you can work with the data to create visuals as well. So the design with data is another piece as well. So pulling in data, creating visuals to go align with it so that you can help your audience understand it more. We've all seen presentations where it's covered with words or it's covered with graphs, and you're trying to listen to somebody talk about it, but also understand what the numbers mean. And I think, I can't remember the data or the stat, but I think it was like 65 or 75% of people are visual learners. So when we think about that, it's not just words. How do we show visuals that are going to help somebody really understand what we're talking about when it comes to data? Because not everybody's data savvy. And I think that's when video and visuals really come into play. So their design with data functionality is really helpful too.
Okay. So like, for example, if I wanted to create a LinkedIn post about the top 5 uses of agentic AI, it would take that data that I'm able to find and turn it into the post visual for me?
A bit. Another thing to think about is that's a piece of the design with data is that they have data sheets now. And that's probably like a key point to mention. So just like Google Sheets and just like Excel, they have spreadsheets in there now. And it works the same way with formulas and data. So you can literally pull that data in and ask and prompt AI to tell you what it's understanding. So you could say something like, if it's quarter over quarter sales, and you can ask and prompt AI in the design to say, what is our average sale quarter over quarter, or something like that. So it can give you that. And it can also even give you the formula to put in there if you want to. And then you can create imagery that will align with some of those main data points, right? So instead of somebody looking at a spreadsheet to go, okay, that's a lot for quarter 1, that's a lot for quarter 2, you can start creating those visual assets that'll help pull that data. So it's very helpful with the Sheets functionality to do that as well.
Okay. Yeah, no, I can see how that would really pull in and equalize understanding.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are charts in Canva now that are like some of the interactive charts and things like that. So again, that visual element to it. So if you have data, but you want to show it in a different way, there's a lot of different charts you can choose from that'll help show that visually as well. And then one thing that's really cool about that too, that how other people are using Sheets is if you've worked with like social media is one all the time where you have this like social media plan with in an Excel spreadsheet and you have people go through and okay, this one's in design, this one's for next month, and these are the assets. You can build all that in Canva as well and link all of your design assets. And you can also bulk update content. So if you have certain content that you need 10 rows of content updated, you can bulk update it in there too because of the sheet functionality. So it's really incredible. Yeah.
One.
So
Oh.
say you have an event and you have 40 people that are speaking and you need to use a template to create and add their images into that template for their speaker. You're not doing it manually one by one. You literally have a template that you link to and all the headshots in a folder, and you just say grab them here and plug them into that template, and it creates all of them for you. So it's just a lot of different ways to use it. Yeah. Yeah. I know.
That just saved me about 5 hours worth of work.
Yeah. And the beauty is you can save this as a template too, once you build it out. So that way, if you're like, you do events every quarter or you do your podcasting every week or twice, you can set that up as a template. So then you don't have to build it every time and you can just access it and plug in the links or whatever it is that you need to add to the spreadsheet.
I love
Yeah.
that. I love
Yeah.
that. All right. I can't imagine it getting much better than 1 and 2, but what's 3?
Number 3. Okay. We touched on it a little bit, but it's designing. It's designed with Canva AI. And there's just so many ways to access the AI functionality within Canva. So what we've talked about a little bit is when you're in a design, how you leverage it. You can use AI Write that can write content for you. You can use AI designing and you can edit images like crazy, which is so helpful. And everybody used the background remover and I feel like mine was blown and it's really incredible. But there's so much more that you can do with even the AI imagery as far as, I don't know if you've ever used the grab functionality, but you can take elements out of an image and that's almost better than background remover, quite frankly. But you can then move pieces around like a puzzle. You can do, if any marketing person has tried this, but when you have an image and a design that you want to put like words on one side, but the image is a portrait size and you want to expand it over, there's Magic Expand. So you can pull the whole image in the background. So that's incredible. So there's all these little AI image editing functionality that's just super incredible. The AI Write one is one that I see people not really using all that often. And I think it's definitely one that's underutilized that should be considered, especially when you can put your brand voice in Canva to leverage it. And even if you don't, say you start your writing maybe with some inspiration from maybe your chat GPT or a custom bot that you use or something like that, you can always copy that message, the wording, and paste it into a document design in Canva and play with it from there. So it may start from somewhere else, but you can pull it in. And then you can say, okay, from this, create 3 social media posts, or from this, create a short video script. And that's super, super helpful. Another thing I mentioned video, which is another underutilized one, and you can do a lot with it with the AI functionality in Canva. So 2 separate things here, but you can create videos of yourself, recording yourself within Canva. So you can do it in a design. If you follow me on LinkedIn, all my things are created in Canva, all my videos and everything. And then even within that, when you record yourself, you could either do it individually or you could do a screen record where it's your face and your screen. So if you're navigating people around, you can do that as well. And then it also has the AI functionality to add captions, which I think people don't realize either. So you can do all your captions in AI from your videos also, and you can edit them if you need to, stuff like that.
Yeah, I actually am proud of myself right now. Like I've used that feature. That is, especially when doing presentations, having yourself there and being a part of the presentation as well, I think increases engagement and it lets people know this isn't me removing myself from the process. I'm deep in it, but I really want you to see this. Really do that feature. I think it's incredibly helpful.
Yeah, and the personalization that it creates, right? And you're the face of the brand, so that's so important. People want to see you. They see you in the podcasting and all the other things, so they want to see you there. So I think that's super, super helpful. And then also, everybody's probably experienced this, that the layout of Canva updated after April too, or maybe even right before that. But when you log in, you have the search functionality at the top, and it has the AI little button as well. And so I think overall, people haven't played with that a ton, and I think it's so underutilized. So when you go in, click on AI, and it has so many. Canva does a nice job of creating a bunch of different shortcuts. So with their AI functionality, just straight out of the gate, you can create AI images, you can create AI videos. So that's another video. That's why I was saying there's 2 different kind of video sections. There's videos you can create of yourself, but there's AI videos that you can create as well. So when you're thinking about coming up with content for maybe a marketing campaign, or a series of content, you can start creating those, not just with stock photography that you can get from Canva, but really customized to what your mind is thinking to generate your own images and your own videos. And then within the AI tool, there's so many other things in there that you can leverage and try. That's a lot of fun, even some music, different things like that. And Canva does a nice job of giving you examples right beneath that too. So it'll give you little shortcuts to create different things with, and playing is learning. So if you haven't tested it, I would just highly encourage you to give it a try. And a lot of what I'm talking about, there are some access to these things in the Canva free version, but like most tools, you'll get more access and things as you use Pro and above, but it's incredible what you have access to in here. It's a cost-effective tool, and they're building all of these features and functions within it. It's really amazing.
Yeah, really what you're talking about right here is almost, it's in my mind, I'm thinking of Loom, I'm thinking of Chat GPT, I'm thinking of my scheduling tool. This is really efficient.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons again, empowerment. I just love that gives you access to so many things. And some of the ones that you've mentioned are on the back side of this, right? They're not creating it out of nowhere. And they just mentioned that they are rolling out with a deeper connection to ChatGPT and sourcing directly from it. So that's going to be a whole nother level too. So I think if you're paying for at least Canva Pro already, like, you should be diving into this immediately and learning this. And I think it depends on the business too. So if you're a business where, creating videos is your jam, it's your bread and butter, Canva's not made to be just a video creator. So that might warrant using a video tool. And so I say all this loosely too. And that's what I coach people on as well, is like understanding what your business is about. But for me, I create videos sometimes, so I don't need a huge investment to go buy a video tool. I have what I need right within here. So also understanding what your business does and where it makes the most sense, and keep it trim as much as you can to be cost effective, because there's a lot you can do within Canva. Yeah.
And I want to know, do we touch on number 4 already, or do we need to do one more? We'll dive into number 4.
Yeah, it'll be a light touch because it leans into what we just talked about here. Yeah,
right.
so we don't hijack the whole thing. But it's Canva Code. And so that's another AI functionality as well. So it leans into the AI piece that they've built in. And so many people aren't using this yet. And I'm just laughing because it's so much fun. And I think it's finding use cases for it too. But Canva has a bunch of little examples that you can play with. And I just highly encourage to go play and try some things. But I've done some things for some clients that's been really cool. So the beauty of Canva Code is that you can prompt just like you would with a tool to ask it to write code for you to create something. But the way that you can do it in Canva, and the beauty of it, is that it already gives you the finished product as well. So there's no creating the code, taking the code, copying it, putting it somewhere, and trying to understand that. It literally, you can watch it create all the coding and build out what you're prompting, and it gives you a place to, for the finished product, to test it and to go through it, which a lot of tools do. But it gives you the visual, pretty design. But then it also, once you've confirmed that you like it, it puts it in a design for you. So just like any other Canva design, so that way you can publish it. You could set it up as a web page. You could get an embed code from it. But then you can add your logo on it. You can edit it slightly. Like, it has the static code design in it. And then you can edit around it, put your logo on it, just do a lot of different things before you make it public. So it's a lot of fun. You can do quizzes, you can do questionnaires, you can do all kinds of matching games. Some of them I haven't even played with, but Canva has a lot of examples that you can just test. So as you play with it, the cool part too, as you play with it, and you know what, I want it to change this color, or I don't like question number 3, or at the end, I want it to have a link that goes to my webpage for them or my meeting link, or both. Like, you can create buttons with hyperlinks that go to your stuff if you want to, or a meeting link. So you just prompt it again, and you tell it what you want, and it just does another iteration, and then you test it, and then you can do another iteration if you need to. That's some of what I've been playing with, is how many iterations will it let me, how much can I push it? But it's really cool. It makes it very accessible for people that maybe don't have tools like this, or are considering buying another tool somewhere. This is a way to do it within something that you probably already have access to.
That's what I was just thinking about. It's, wow, you're touching on functionality that I was introduced to through my web designer. It was, oh, hey, what about if we did a quiz and you had this button on your website and they could take the quiz? And I'm like, you're talking about that all within Canva.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's really thinking about the strategy from that too. And when you think about what you have access to, how you can leverage it, and I think that's where I'm able to help clients too, is the strategy behind it, because every tool is going to have something that overlaps. And a lot of web designers can build in a quiz or something like that, which is very common, but you can build a lot of those in tools that you might already have access to.
And that's really what I want to ask you about, is to stop my own overwhelm, right? Because I attended that Canva event, and it's just like, at a certain point I've reached saturation. It's, wait a minute, you teach the strategy, right? Not just Canva, you're actually working with people to develop a strategy. So can you share a high level peek at how you might build out a marketing campaign inside Canva and how certain pieces of the system keep things consistent and scalable?
Yeah. So the way I work with clients also, just going touching on that part too, because there's a ton of online YouTube, Canva know-hows and to-dos. And I think a lot of that leans into some of the really cool design functionality or making things pretty or that kind of thing. So when I go in, it's more again on the market, the operational side. So what's your process? How do you create your content? How do we make sure you stay on brand? How do we make sure you have a marketing strategy that that your tactics are the end part. I think a lot of people jump to that end part of I want to create social media, I want to write a blog, and making sure that's aligned to your strategy to then make sure your process and the tool that you're using is built with that in mind. And I have a framework that I use where I audit and assess, try to leverage resources, and that's where I do a little bit more a deep dive of what tools do you have, what tools do you need, where's the overlap, is there opportunity to streamline to make it easier, and then what about your team members, that kind of thing. And then that's really identifying the opportunities and the gaps, or to streamline, or to we need something else, or how do we leverage Canva to fit that process. And then we generate and implement that. And then the last phase is nurture and optimize. So it's really, all right, we've got it in place. Let's test it out. What else do we need to do to make it even better? I'm a big proponent of there's always opportunities to do more, do better. So it's my aligned framework. So that's how that works. So I go into it with that mindset. And specifically with Canva building out, I think the second part to your question is the build out part of that. So just like I gave you my example, like how my thought process works I usually start with an idea of a blog and then I go from there when I'm thinking about a marketing campaign or a series. That's how I'd approach it with my clients too, is obviously in addition to understanding what tools and their goals are and their branding and that kind of thing. So making sure their foundational stuff is set up. So that part of it, the brand kits, when it comes to Canva, the branding, the marketing, are there any gaps there? And then the process part. And I think a lot of people, when I do some of these presentations, I talk a lot about, or my workshop, before we dive in all Canva, I talk about some of these things. So what is branding? What is marketing? How are those different? What is a workflow? What is a process? And how are those different? And then go into the build out. And then that's where like it goes into what I shared with you, my thought process of, okay, I start with a blog and how do we leverage that in a few different ways? And then what platforms am I on where it makes the most sense for my content, but for my business, for my audience? Because I think we do get hung up on all the shiny things. And then what is everybody else doing that I should be doing too? So really trying to bring it back to the strategy and the brand. Because I'm seeing, and you may have seen this too, and not to knock on anything, but I'm seeing a lot of people just generating imagery and that ends up looking the same. Like when it comes out of like Chat GPT and stuff, you start seeing the themes, and it's because it's pulling data on what's being prompted as a whole, and it's collecting everything that's going on. So I'm seeing a lot of the same type of imagery and stuff like that. So my question to everybody, is that truly representative of your brand? Is that the imagery you would pick? Or if you didn't use imagery that was generated by AI, or would you use something different? So really, and that leans a little bit into the human-led AI side. So sticking to your strategy, sticking to your strength, what your goals are, who your audience is, and making sure to stay in line with that too and that branding. So I feel like I went down a little rabbit hole there. With lights. So the thing I'm passionate about is the foundation on the back end to make sure when you do the tactics and when you do move forward that it's truly aligned with what you're doing, not influenced by other things that maybe don't have the same alignment or a different business, stuff like that.
Yeah, and I would almost take that recommendation and slap that into Chat GPT and say, okay, based on what you know about my business, what kind of thing can I do what can I capitalize on within Canva, for example, and tease out that beginning of a system for myself. That makes total sense to me. It's like stopping me from feeling overwhelmed, grounding me in my own business, and then from that point going into Canva and say, okay, here's specifically what I want it to help with. So
Yeah.
that makes total sense to me.
Yeah. And even if you have, and what I love too is it's so important to have those foundational brand strategy, marketing strategies. So important to have those foundational things, because even if you are using a Chat GPT, you can create a custom bot that's going to help you with those things. And you feed it those documents so that it knows you even more Whereas I'm seeing a lot of people just prompt and say, hey, create 5 social media posts that talk about marketing. And you're going to see some similarities of what's going on with other people too. So how do you make it more you? How do you make it in your voice? How do you make it with your strategy? So you can, those foundational pieces are so important so that you do get more of that customization. So it sounds like you. So it's your authentic self. And so even that you can build into ChatGPT and then pull things out to then go into Canva. If you have custom bots or things like that built out, then that can be really helpful too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if someone's listening right now and they're feeling rightfully so overwhelmed by AI or unsure about upgrading how they use Canva, what's that one challenge, like gauntlet thrown, first step that you'd encourage them to take today?
Yeah. I think with regard to Canva, I think, and this is the like, I'll lean in a little bit my dorky organization side, but I would say really take time to set up the foundational stuff because it's just going to make your work better, more authentic, easier. A lot of people just jump in and use templates that are already in the tool, which is totally fine, but customize those and make them your own templates. Fill out your full brand kit. Fill out your full brand kit. Leverage that because it will generate, you can generate your designs and all your different versions of your brand colors, for example. Like the click of a button, it'll make it so much easier than trying to customize and change this color and that color and put a new face in somewhere else. There's so many more automated tools in there that you can leverage that make your work easier. So set up the foundational stuff. Really lean into your foundational stuff when it comes to your brand, when it comes to your marketing. Really lean into you and your business and filling out those like true pieces of your branding and marketing. I think people overlook that and jump to the tactics, which is your social media, your blog, and all the output stuff. And then also, this is the dorky part, but I'm very passionate about having like a strategy around your organization, like literally your folders, subfolders, things like that. And that's where I see this get really messy. People just go in, create a design, and that's it. But if you, and what I coach clients on is having kind of a formula, if you will, on how you organize your content and title it. Because anytime you spend time doing that, you're going to be able to search all of your information so much easier. It's going to save you so much time. You'll be able to teach other team members. And it just, again, those foundational things that aren't the most exciting, you can hire someone to do that or take time to set it up yourself. But I enjoy setting that up because it truly helps clients really set them up for success and then also make it a repeatable process, and it really helps them learn. So if you have this formula in your mind for your business, you can have pretty much the same structure in your Google Drive where you save information, in your Canva environment where you save information, in your OneDrive, in your Microsoft program, in your Dropbox. This formula you can have in all of your places. So it doesn't feel so chaotic when you have to interact in these different environments or train somebody. So
I feel so exposed right now.
but it's all of us, right? This isn't the fun part, and we're pimpy. So we want to do like that. We want to jump to the end and do all the things, but it's just like cleaning out a closet or something like that. So taking the time to do that, and don't beat yourself up because it is everybody. It really, myself included, I'm not perfect, but it is taking the time to do those things in order to just make it easier.
I will bet money your folders are way more organized than mine. I will bet money. What do you mean my download folder is an organizational system? Come on.
Yeah.
Download. I am so that person that just jumps in. You've absolutely given me a task that I can do like today. I have jumped in and clicked copy, make a copy, right?
Yeah.
That is what I have done for all of these systems that are all of these images that I have set. I know this is the image. I know what I'm going to use this for. So let's make a copy and make a new one.
Yeah.
And I have a collection in there. It's like my download folder, right?
Yeah.
It's this collection. And my brand voice. Oh my gosh, my brand kit's not fit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I focused on the visuals because I really did think of Canva as just this place for visuals. But you're highlighting something, and I know it's not just me. I know it's not just me. So I'm betting you right now there's a listener or two going, guess what I'm going to go do?
Do it. Yeah.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
again, it's a creativity tool, and I think that's how all of us have used it in the beginning, was like, I need to be able to create some cool stuff visually. And that's how we all started. And over time, it's just become it's a creative tool and a productivity tool. And it's just setting that up for success to leverage it in that way. And it's a little bit of a mind shift with that. But the beauty is it's all in one. So you're being productive, but you're also creating the visual assets or visual pieces within it too. So it's really both. Yeah.
All right. So, ladies, we have homework tonight. We're moving creativity into the realm of productivity through organization. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Katie, thank you so much for being with us today. I feel like I've got a chance now to make the most out of this system. So
Yeah.
thank you. I appreciate the heck out of you.
Yeah, I hope it helps. I know it's a lot to go over, but I hope it's given everybody perspective on what they have access to, because I think that's incredible. And yeah, I hope it helps. And I would love to see what anybody designs and creates, or how you leverage AI within Canva. It's so much fun to play. So
We are going to encourage them to tag you, and I know they are going to want to learn more from you. So how can they connect with you, get another opportunity to maybe dive deep into some of these tools? What's the best next step?
yeah, awesome. I appreciate you saying that. But definitely follow me on LinkedIn. I'll continue to share anything there. That's my main place as far as social media, but I'm on Instagram and Facebook as well. And one thing I want to remember too, I'll give this link to you to share it in the notes also. But I wrote a blog on how to create your brand voice in 5 minutes using content that you already have. So I'll share that link. So for anybody that wants to create that brand voice within Canva, this is a little shortcut on how to do that. And then also I have an upcoming Canva Unlocked workshop that I've done, and it's been incredibly fun and successful. And it's got Q&A, templates, and resources that you walk away with. And we'll actually walk through pretty much everything I've shared here, all within that workshop. So I'll share that link as well. And if anyone's interested in participating, it's available too.
Meet me there.
Yep.
Everybody, meet me there.
And then and I can give you my website as well, but I work with regard to Canva, I work at all different levels from entrepreneurs up to enterprise, and I implement it on a larger scale too. Don't hesitate to reach out if any of that sounds interesting also.
Absolutely fantastic. You are such a resource. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This has been such a pleasure. It's great to be on your podcast, and I follow and love all of your content. So thank you so much for having me today. It's truly a pleasure.
Oh, right back at you. I am going to be all the better for having listened to you. So thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Empowered by AI. If today's episode sparked ideas, don't wait. Follow the link in the show notes to visit innovativeaistudio.com and download your free resource created to help you put today's insights into practice. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes packed with more tips, tools, and inspiring stories. Until next time, stay empowered and keep innovating.